Right, so Rugby Championship's done. We look forward to the end of year tour. We can't call it a Grand Slam tour yet because we can only call it once we've beaten all four our home nations. That of course is Ireland and Chicago. Actually, I can't quite remember what the order is for the other three, but England, Wales, and Scotland. We can't actually call it a Grand Slam tour until we complete the 4 wins. It's gonna be a tough tour. But yeah, I think certainly being able to compete for a Grand Slam. It's been 15 years. I think at one stage we had 3 tours in the space of 5 years, and then they gave it a bit of a break. The squads are due to be announced sometime next week. I'm not entirely sure when, but in any case, I'll put one up straight away. I should mention, of course, you've got the players who won't be on the tour. They're out for the rest of the season. Tupou Vaa'i, Tyrell Lomax, Tivosi Tavatanawai, Imoni Narawa, and actually Imoni Narawa is a bit of a question mark, but I think he might. Yeah, I have to check that one again. So hold the phone on that one. Noah Hawthorne is certainly out of the tour. And of course, there are likely to be more injuries with a couple of players going to NPC and, train injuries. Things happen, so one to watch this space. But yeah, not counting those injured players, this is my 36-man All Black squad. Now, it is, obviously there are some specialist positions in the forwards, and there are going to be positions in the backs which are really more utility. I'm going to go with the... I'm not really going to go... I'll talk about the specialist positions a bit, but with the backs, I think I'll have a bit more degree of freedom. I think this squad is sort of... the makeup of this squad is pretty much going to be the same across a lot of fans. And yeah, so I might be accused of... Yeah, so don't accuse me of plagiarism there. So, because it's probably going to... Other people would have certainly, if you follow Rugby Championship, I think there's consensus around who's going to be in. So the props, I've got Ethan de Groot, who should be back he had, of course, stood down for concussion. Ethan de Groot should be good to go. Tamaiti Williams, Pasilio Tossi, Fletcher Newell, they featured a lot in the Rugby Championship. They will take 6 props. So I'm going to go Ollie Norris and Tavita Mafileo, who is someone who has really, really impressed the All Blacks, has been in the wider training squad. He's back playing NPC. He will feature for I think it was a bear play in the NPC finals. So those would be my 6. My hookers, you got Cody Taylor, Samisoni Takiaho, and I don't think Brodie McAllister has done anything to be, that's a weird way of saying it. Let's just say, look, I think it's still, Brodie McAllister should be in the squad as long as he's fit. I don't think Asafo Aumua's fit enough or done quite enough to get back into the team. There's still, certainly, with the way he's come back, when he came back with Wellington, he didn't quite look 100%, then he went off, so I don't think there'll be any changes there. They might injury cover. They might take George Bell. Of course, he was when Cody Taylor stood down. He went to Perth and did score that try. So he's certainly another name to watch out for. Scott Barrett is the captain, so he's gonna go. Fabian Holland, Patrick Tuipolotu, and I think Josh Lord will be in there. They will take 5 locks. So in lieu of Tupou Vaa'i, I think Sam Derry, who's come back from that injury that ruled him out of Super Rugby at the start of the season, he's gonna be the 5th lock. And he's done all right in NPC so far, and looks like showing some of the glimpses of the form that he showed for the All Blacks last season. In the loops forwards, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of change. I'll have Simon Parker, Wallace Satiti, Adi Savia, Luke Jacobson, Duplessis Karifi, Pia Laka, and Sami Penny Finau. Look, I guess Finau, Jacobson, they haven't really featured much for various reasons, for the injury and all that, but the fact, I think the fact they've been released to play NPC, I think that it's quite clear the coaches selectors still have their, they're pretty much on their radar. So so certainly. I think Jacobson, those would be the names I expect to be, which is a bit of a shame for someone like Devon Flanders who's been mentioned, but I don't think, unless there's injuries to these incumbents, look, it's not really going to be much change. And also, I guess my Otago man, Luke Casey, you got Sam Withy from Southland, but I think it might still be a bit too early for Luke Casey to be considered for the All Blacks. Could very well be an apprentice though, so just watch this space. Halfbacks, it's going to be Cam Roigard, Cortes Ratama. And my third choice, I kind of have a feeling Finley Christie might be on his way out. I did hear there was something about his contract finishing. I mean, he's going to head overseas. So I've gone with Kyle, no Hotham obviously out. I've gone with Kyle Preston because I think he absolutely deserves it. Was good on his All Blacks debut. I think this may be a tour too early for Dylan Pledger at Otago, but again, he might be called up as an apprentice. He certainly looked really good. Now we get to a position where there is a bit of, I think there's going to be some degree of freedom and utility, but I guess, but first fives, obviously, I guess Beauden Barrett, as long as his shoulder injury is fine, he should be good on the tour. I think the word is he should be good to go. They may call up an injury cover, in which case you call Josh Jacob. He's had a pretty decent season with Taranaki, and he's sort of always been on the radar. Obviously, Damien McKenzie is sort of now considered a first five, but certainly can play fullback. And Ruben Love, while I think people would traditionally name him as an outside back, but he's quite clearly going to be the third choice, first five. And then you have your centers, I guess, Geordie Barrett, Billy Proctor. Sorry, thought I heard the door. Geordie Barrett's, he's clear. He's had a really he remains our first choice, second five. Billy Proctor, Quinn Tupai, Anton Leonard Brown. For the centers, although Lester Fainanuku Lester Fainanuku surely, a lot of experts says he's wasted out on a wing. He's not a wing. He's more of a center. So there's a lot of options there now at center. I guess the real question is who gets the 13 jersey, because Quinn Tupai was absolutely outstanding in the game in Perth, but Billy Proctor hasn't really done too much wrong. Tupai offers that ability to run straight, sort of a bit like Ma Nonu. Proctor does have a little bit more of that playmaking abilities that you like. I liked what he did in the... I wasn't wholly convinced initially, but I think he certainly showed maturity towards the end of the Rugby Championship. That's going to be a fascinating battle. I think it might very much come down to horses. And then, look, I already mentioned Fainanuku, but the other outside backs, Leroy Carter, Caleb Clark, Will Jordan, and Rico Ioane, of course, who could still play centre. But I think it is quite evident that he is going to feature more as a wing. So those are my 36. I'd like to hear. I think there's not really going to be any surprises there. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what do you think the 36 players to go to Chicago and United and Britain will be. And of course, if you like this video, feel free to like and don't forget to subscribe.